Hello there. You're not okay right now, are you? And you've been pretending that you are. Putting on a smile, saying, "I'm fine," when people ask. Acting like everything is normal when inside, you're falling apart. You're sad. Really sad. Maybe heartbroken. Maybe grieving. Maybe just heavy with a sadness you can't fully explain. And you've been hiding it, pushing it down, not letting anyone see. Because you think you should be okay. You think you shouldn't feel this way. You think your sadness is a burden to others. You think if people knew how not okay you really are, they'd be uncomfortable. They'd think less of you. They'd pull away. So you hide it. You perform okayness. You carry your sadness alone, in private, where no one can see. You cry in the shower. You break down in your car. You hold it together in public and collapse in private. And that's exhausting. Pretending to be okay when you're not. Hiding your real feelings. Protecting everyone else from your pain. Always performing. Never being real. Take a breath with me. Just one breath. And as you exhale, let yourself feel what you're actually feeling. Just for a moment. Without pretending. Without hiding. Without performing okayness. Let your face show it. Let your body feel it. Let yourself be not okay. Just for this moment. Just here, where no one else can see. Tonight, we're going to talk about something important. About it being okay to not be okay. About your feelings being valid, even the hard ones. About not having to hide your sadness to protect other people's comfort. Because here's the truth. You don't have to be okay all the time. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to not have it all together. That's being human. That's normal. That's real. But you've been taught otherwise. You've been taught to hide negative feelings, to always be positive, to not burden others with your pain, to keep it together, to be strong. And that's crushing you, because you can't be okay all the time. No one can. And pretending to be when you're not, that's making everything worse. That's adding the weight of performance to the weight of pain. So tonight, let's explore what it means to let yourself not be okay. To stop hiding your feelings. To stop protecting everyone else from your reality. To stop performing and start being real. You don't have to be okay. You really don't. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to not be fine. And you're allowed to let people see that. You're allowed to be real. Your sadness isn't a burden. Your pain isn't too much. Your struggle isn't shameful. It's human. It's real. It's valid. And it deserves to be acknowledged, not hidden. So tonight, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be okay. You can be exactly what you are. Sad, struggling, not okay. And that's perfectly acceptable. It's okay to not be okay. Your feelings are welcome here. All of them. Even the hard ones. Even the sad ones. Even the ones you think you should hide. They're all welcome. They're all valid. They're all okay. You know why you hide your sadness? Because somewhere along the way, you learned that negative feelings aren't acceptable. That being sad means being weak. That struggling means being a burden. That not being okay means being too much. Maybe people dismissed your feelings when you were young. Don't cry. Stop being so sensitive. Get over it. It's not that bad. So you learned that your sadness wasn't welcome, that you needed to hide it. Maybe you watched adults hide their feelings, pretend everything was fine when it wasn't, put on brave faces, never show vulnerability. So you learned that's what you're supposed to do too. Hide, pretend, perform strength. Maybe people responded badly when you showed sadness. They got uncomfortable. They tried to fix it immediately. They couldn't just be with you in it. So you learned that your sadness makes people uncomfortable, that you need to protect them from it. Maybe you were told to be strong, to stay positive, to not let things get you down. So you learned that being sad is failing, that struggling means you're not strong enough, that not being okay is something to be ashamed of. Whatever the reason, you learn to hide, to pretend, to protect others from your pain, to carry sadness alone, to be okay on the outside, even when you're breaking on the inside. And that's a heavy burden. To not only feel the pain, but also to hide it. To not only struggle, but also to pretend you're not. To not only be sad, but also to perform happiness. That's exhausting. It's isolating. It's making everything worse. Because you can't heal what you're hiding. You can't process what you're suppressing. You can't get support for what you won't show. So you stay stuck in sadness, alone with your pain, isolated in your struggle. Because you're too busy hiding it to actually deal with it. Too busy protecting others to let anyone help you. But here's what you need to know. Your feelings are valid. All of them. the sad ones, the hard ones, the ones you think you should hide. They're all valid. They're all acceptable. They're all okay to feel. Being sad isn't weak. It's human. Struggling isn't failing. It's being alive. Not being okay isn't shameful. It's real. And real is better than performing. Always. You don't have to hide your feelings to be acceptable. You don't have to pretend to be okay to be loved. You don't have to protect everyone from your pain to be worthy of connection. Actually, the opposite is true. Real connection happens when you're real. When you let people see you. When you stop performing and start being honest. That's when real intimacy happens. That's when genuine support becomes possible. So you don't have to hide. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to perform okayness when you're not okay. You can be real. You can show your sadness. You can let people see you struggling. And the right people, the people who actually love you, they'll be okay with that. They'll be there. They won't need you to be okay. They'll be able to handle your not okayness. And the people who can't handle it, who need you to always be okay, who are uncomfortable with your real feelings, those aren't your people. And protecting their comfort isn't worth sacrificing your authenticity. So stop hiding. Stop pretending. Stop protecting everyone else from your reality. Be real. Be sad. Be not okay. That's allowed. That's valid. That's human. Let's talk about what happens when you constantly hide your feelings. When you always pretend to be okay. When you never let anyone see your sadness. You become disconnected from yourself. You start to lose touch with what you actually feel. Because you're so focused on what you should feel, what you should show, what's acceptable, that you stop knowing what's actually real for you. You ask yourself, how am I feeling? And you don't know. Because you've been suppressing so long that you can't access your real feelings anymore. They're buried under layers of pretending and performing. You become lonely, deeply lonely, because no one actually knows you. They know the version you perform, the always okay version, the never struggling version. But they don't know the real you, the sad you, the struggling you, the not okay you. And that's lonely. To be surrounded by people but known by no one. To have relationships but no real intimacy. To be connected but not really seen. Because you're not showing them the real you. You're showing them the performance. You become exhausted. Constantly pretending takes energy. Constantly monitoring what you show. Constantly performing okayness constantly hiding your real feelings, that's exhausting. More exhausting than the sadness itself sometimes. You become stuck because you can't heal what you won't acknowledge. You can't process what you're suppressing. You can't work through what you're hiding. So the sadness stays, stuck inside, never processed, never released, just hidden. You become resentful because you're carrying everything alone, because no one helps, because no one knows you need help, because you're protecting everyone else while no one protects you. And that breeds resentment toward others for not seeing, toward yourself for not showing. That's the cost of hiding. That's what constantly pretending does. It disconnects you from yourself. It creates loneliness. It exhausts you. It keeps you stuck. It breeds resentment. And for what? To protect others from your reality. To maintain the illusion that you're always okay. To avoid making people uncomfortable. Is that worth all this cost? No, it's not. Protecting others' comfort isn't worth sacrificing your authenticity. Maintaining illusions isn't worth disconnecting from reality. Avoiding others' discomfort isn't worth your own exhaustion and isolation. So what if you stopped? What if you let yourself be real? What if you showed people when you're not okay? You'd reconnect with yourself, with your actual feelings, with your real experience. You'd know yourself again, instead of just knowing the performance. You'd experience real intimacy, real connection, because people would know the actual you, not just the performed version. The real, struggling, not always okay you. And that creates real relationship. You'd have more energy because you wouldn't be constantly performing, constantly hiding, constantly pretending. You could just be. And being takes so much less energy than performing. You'd start to heal because you'd be acknowledging what's real, processing what you're feeling, working through what's hard, instead of suppressing and staying stuck. You'd feel less alone because people would know, would see, would be able to support, instead of you carrying everything alone while pretending you're fine. That's what becomes possible when you stop hiding, when you let yourself be real, when you show people your actual feelings instead of performed okayness. So stop hiding. Start being real. Stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Start showing people your actual experience, your real feelings, your genuine struggle. That's where healing happens. That's where real connection lives. That's where you find yourself again, in authenticity, in realness, in letting yourself not be okay. Here's something important about sadness, about grief, about pain. These feelings aren't problems to be fixed immediately. They're not mistakes to be corrected. They're not weaknesses to be eliminated. They're human experiences to be felt. But that's not how people usually respond to sadness. When you're sad, people want to fix it. Don't be sad. Here's why it's not that bad. Look on the bright side. It could be worse. Everything happens for a reason. They're uncomfortable with your sadness, so they try to talk you out of it, to cheer you up, to fix it quickly, to make it go away. Because your sadness makes them uncomfortable. And that teaches you that sadness is wrong, that you shouldn't feel it, that it needs to be fixed immediately, that feeling sad is something to be ashamed of, something to hide, something to get over as quickly as possible. But that's not true. Sadness isn't wrong. Grief isn't a mistake. Pain isn't a problem. These are normal human emotions that arise in response to loss, disappointment, hurt, difficulty. They're appropriate responses to hard situations, and they need to be felt, not fixed, not eliminated, not reasoned away, but felt, acknowledged, honored, given space to exist. Because sadness that's felt moves through you. Grief that's acknowledged processes and eventually softens. Pain that's honored eventually transforms. But sadness that's suppressed stays stuck. Grief that's denied gets frozen. Pain that's hidden festers. So you need to let yourself feel sad without immediately trying to fix it, without rushing to feel better, without judging yourself for the feeling. Just feel it. Let it be there. Let it move through you. That's not wallowing. That's not being weak. That's not being dramatic. That's processing. That's healing. That's being human. And you need people who can be with you in sadness, who don't need to immediately fix it, who can sit with you in pain without rushing to make it better, who can handle your not okayness without needing you to be okay. Because that's real support. Not trying to fix your feelings, but being present with them. Not trying to talk you out of sadness, but acknowledging it and sitting with you in it. Not trying to make you feel better immediately, but letting you feel what you feel without judgment. That's what you need. People who can handle your real feelings, who don't need you to be okay, who can be present with your pain, who understand that sadness doesn't need to be fixed, just felt. And if the people around you can't do that, if they're always trying to fix your feelings, if they can't handle your sadness, then you might need different support. People who understand that feelings need to be felt, not fixed. Because you deserve to have your feelings honored, not dismissed, not fixed, not rushed through, but honored, acknowledged, given space to exist. Your sadness is valid. Your grief is real. Your pain matters. And it all deserves to be felt, not fixed. To be acknowledged, not dismissed. To be honored, not rushed through. So give yourself permission to feel, without immediately trying to fix it, without rushing to be okay, without judging yourself for having feelings. Just feel. That's how you heal. That's how you process. That's how you eventually find your way through. Sadness isn't a problem to fix. It's an emotion to feel. So feel it. Without shame. Without rushing. Without judgment. Just feel it. That's okay. That's allowed. That's human. Now let's talk about the phrase, "I'm fine." Those two words you probably say constantly when people ask how you are, when they notice something seems off, when they offer support. I'm fine. Automatic. Immediate. Even when you're clearly not fine. Even when you're falling apart. Even when you desperately need help. I'm fine. Why do you say it? Why do you default to fine when you're not? Why do you hide behind those two words instead of being honest? Maybe because "I'm fine" is easier. It closes the conversation. It doesn't require vulnerability. It doesn't risk others' judgment or discomfort. It keeps you safe behind the wall of okayness. Maybe because you don't want to burden people. You think your problems are too much. Your sadness is too heavy. Your struggle is too intense. So you say, "I'm fine," to protect them from having to deal with you. Maybe because you don't think people actually want to know. When they ask, "How are you?" you think it's just politeness. You think they don't really want the honest answer. So you give them "fine," because that's what you think they want. Maybe because you don't know how to be honest. You've said "I'm fine" for so long that you don't know how to say, "Actually, I'm struggling." The vulnerability feels too scary. The honesty feels too risky. So you stay with safe, familiar "fine." But "I'm fine" when you're not fine. That's a wall. That's distance. That's keeping people out. And while it protects you from vulnerability, it also prevents connection, prevents support, prevents anyone from actually helping. So what if you stopped saying, "I'm fine," when you're not? What if you started being honest? What if, when someone asks how you are, you actually told them? Not to everyone, not in every situation, but to safe people. People who actually care. People who really want to know. What if you were honest with them? Actually, I'm struggling. Honestly, I'm not doing great. To be real with you, I'm pretty sad right now. What if you said those things instead of fine? It would be vulnerable, really vulnerable. It would risk their reaction, their judgment, their discomfort. But it would also open the door to real connection, real support, real help. Because people can't support what they don't know about. They can't help when you say you're fine. They can't be there for you when you're hiding behind walls. Your "I'm fine" prevents them from showing up for you. So try honesty with safe people. When they ask, tell them the truth. "I'm not okay right now." And see what happens. See if they show up. See if they can handle your honesty. See if they offer support. Some will. The right people will. The people who actually care will be able to handle your real answer, will appreciate your honesty, will show up to support you. And some won't. Some will be uncomfortable. Some won't know what to do. Some will wish you'd just said fine. And that's okay. That tells you who your people are, who can handle your realness, who's worth being vulnerable with. So stop defaulting to "I'm fine." Start practicing honesty. "I'm struggling. I'm sad. I'm not okay." With safe people. People who care. People who ask because they actually want to know. You don't have to be fine. You don't have to pretend you are. You don't have to hide behind those two words. You can be honest. You can be real. You can let people in. "I'm not fine," and that's okay. That's real. That's honest. That's where connection happens. So say it to someone, to the right someone. Be real. Be honest. Stop hiding behind fine. You're not fine, and you don't have to pretend you are. Here's something you need to understand about being strong. You think being strong means not showing weakness, not crying, not struggling, not needing help. Always being okay, always having it together, always handling everything alone. But that's not strength. That's performance. That's pretending. That's hiding. Real strength looks different. Real strength is being honest about your struggle, admitting when you're not okay, showing vulnerability. That takes courage. Real courage. More courage than pretending everything is fine. Real strength is asking for help when you need it, recognizing your limits, accepting support. That's wisdom, not weakness. That's strength, not failing. Real strength is feeling your feelings instead of suppressing them. Crying when you need to cry. Being sad when you're sad. Not pretending to be okay when you're not. That's emotional honesty. That's real strength. Real strength is continuing even when you're struggling. Not pretending you're not struggling, but acknowledging the struggle and continuing anyway. That's resilience. That's real strength. You've been measuring strength wrong. You've been thinking that hiding pain is strong, but it's not. It's just hiding. And hiding isn't strong. It's scared. Strong is being real even when it's uncomfortable. Strong is being vulnerable even when it's scary. Strong is asking for help even when it feels weak. Strong is feeling your feelings even when society tells you not to. That's real strength. Not performance. Not pretending. Not hiding. But honesty. Vulnerability. Authenticity. Courage to be real. So stop trying to be strong by pretending you're okay. Start being actually strong by being honest about when you're not. Stop trying to be strong by never crying. Start being actually strong by letting yourself feel what you feel. Stop trying to be strong by handling everything alone. Start being actually strong by asking for help when you need it. Stop trying to be strong by always having it together. Start being actually strong by admitting when you're falling apart. That's real strength. And it's so much better than the performance you've been doing. So much more honest. So much more real. So much more human. You don't have to be strong in the old way, the performance way, the hiding way. You can be strong in the real way, the honest way, the vulnerable way. And that real strength, it's actually stronger because it's authentic, because it's honest, because it acknowledges reality instead of pretending, because it opens doors to connection and support instead of closing them with performance. So be strong, really strong, honestly strong, by being real, by being vulnerable, by being honest about your struggle, by asking for help, by feeling your feelings, by not being okay when you're not okay. That's strength, real strength, the kind that actually helps you heal and grow and connect, the kind that's sustainable, the kind that's real, not performance strength, real strength. be that. You're capable of that. You're brave enough for that, even when it doesn't feel like it, especially when it doesn't feel like it. Real strength is being real. So be real. That's the strongest thing you can do. Let me tell you what happens when you finally let yourself not be okay. When you stop pretending, when you show people your real feelings, when you let yourself be sad without hiding it, you feel relief, immediate relief, because you're not carrying the weight of pretending anymore. You're not using energy to perform. You're just being. And being is so much lighter than performing. You feel more yourself, more authentic, more real. Because you're not split between the performance and the reality. You're just one whole person. Real. Honest. Not divided. You experience real connection because people see the real you, not the performed version. And real connection happens with real you, not performed you. So relationships deepen. Intimacy becomes possible. Real support flows. You start to heal because you're acknowledging what's real, feeling what needs to be felt, processing what needs to be processed. And that's how healing happens, not through suppression, through acknowledgement and feeling. You feel less alone because people know, people see, people can be there instead of you carrying everything alone behind a wall of fine. People can actually support you, and you feel less isolated in your pain. You have more energy because you're not expending energy on pretending, on performing, on hiding. You can use that energy for healing, for living, for actually dealing with what you're going through. You become more compassionate with yourself because you're allowing yourself to be human, to have feelings, to struggle. And that self-compassion changes everything. You're kinder to yourself, more patient, more understanding. That's what happens when you stop hiding, when you let yourself not be okay, when you show people your real feelings. Relief, authenticity, connection, healing, less loneliness, more energy, self-compassion. All of that becomes possible. Not immediately, not all at once, but gradually, as you practice being real, as you show people your struggle, as you let yourself not be okay. And yes, it's scary at first, vulnerable, risky. But the alternative, continuing to hide, continuing to pretend, continuing to carry everything alone, that's worse. That's more painful. That's more isolating. So take the risk. Be vulnerable. Stop hiding. Let yourself not be okay. Show people. Ask for support. Be real. And watch what happens. Watch how people show up. How relationships deepen. How healing begins. How you start to feel more like yourself. How the weight lifts. How life becomes more bearable. Not because your situation changed, but because you stopped hiding from it. You stopped pretending about it. You let yourself actually feel it, and let others in to support you through it. That's the difference. That's what changes. Not the circumstances, but your relationship with them. Your honesty about them. Your willingness to be real about them. And that makes all the difference. Between suffering alone in silence and suffering with support. Between hiding pain and processing it. Between pretending you're okay and actually healing. So let yourself not be okay. Stop hiding. Start being real. Allow your feelings. Show people. Ask for support. That's where healing lives. That's where real connection happens. That's where you find your way through. Not in pretending, but in being real. Not in hiding, but in showing. Not in performing okayness, but in acknowledging not okayness. That's the path through, the path to healing, the path to authenticity. Be real. Stop hiding. Let yourself not be okay. Tonight, as you lie here pretending to be okay, carrying sadness alone, hiding your struggle, I want you to do something different. I want you to let yourself not be okay. Just here, just now, just with yourself. You don't have to pretend right now. There's no one to perform for, no one to protect, no one who needs you to be okay. Just you. And you don't need you to be okay. You need you to be real. So take a breath and let yourself feel what you actually feel. Not what you think you should feel. Not what would be more acceptable. What you actually feel right now, in this moment. Sad? Let yourself be sad. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. Don't try to think positive. Don't try to fix it. Just be sad. Let the sadness be there. Acknowledge it. I'm sad, and that's okay. Heartbroken. Let yourself be heartbroken. Don't try to minimize it. Don't tell yourself it's not that bad. Don't rush to get over it. Just be heartbroken. Feel the heartbreak. My heart hurts, and that's okay. Grieving. Let yourself grieve. Don't try to be strong. Don't think you should be over it by now. Don't hide the grief. Just grieve. Feel the loss. I'm grieving, and that's okay. Heavy. Let yourself feel heavy. Don't try to be light. Don't force positivity. Don't pretend it's not weighing on you. Just be heavy. Feel the weight. This is heavy, and that's okay. Whatever you're feeling, let yourself feel it, without judgment, without trying to change it, without pretending it's something else. Just feel it. Honestly, fully, really. And as you feel it, say this to yourself: it's okay to not be okay. My feelings are valid. My sadness is real. My struggle is allowed. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to perform. I don't have to be okay. I can be exactly what I am, and that's perfectly acceptable. Say it. Mean it. Believe it. Your feelings are valid. Your sadness is allowed. You don't have to be okay. And notice how it feels to not pretend, even just with yourself, even just here in the dark. To let yourself actually feel what you feel, without performing or hiding or judging. That's relief. That's authenticity. That's being real with yourself. And it's the first step to being real with others too. But it starts here, with you being real with you. So be real. Feel what you feel. Acknowledge what's true. Stop pretending, even with yourself. I'm not okay, and that's okay. That's your truth tonight. That's what's real. Hold it. Honor it. Don't hide from it. You're not okay, and you don't have to be. You're allowed to be exactly what you are. Sad, struggling, not okay. All of it is allowed. All of it is valid. All of it is human. So be human. Be real. Be not okay. That's perfectly acceptable. Rest tonight knowing you don't have to pretend. Not with yourself. And eventually, not with others either. You can be real. You can show your struggle. You can let yourself not be okay. Your feelings are welcome here, all of them. Even the sad ones, even the hard ones, even the ones you think you should hide. They're all welcome. They're all valid. They're all okay. So feel them, without hiding, without pretending, without judgment. It's okay to not be okay. Really, it is. Let me tell you who needs to hear this message most. You do. Right now. Exactly as you are. Struggling, sad, not okay. You need to hear that it's okay to be not okay. Because you've been telling yourself you should be fine by now, you should be over it, you should be stronger, you should handle this better, you should be okay. But should doesn't change reality. Should doesn't heal pain. Should doesn't process grief. Should just makes you feel worse about feeling bad. So stop shoulding yourself. Stop telling yourself you should be okay. You're not okay. And that's the reality. And reality doesn't respond to should. It just is. You're sad. That's real. You're struggling. That's true. You're not okay. That's the reality. And no amount of should changes that. It just adds shame to pain, judgment to struggle. I shouldn't feel this way, on top of actually feeling this way. So stop. Stop shoulding. Stop judging. Stop shaming yourself for your feelings. They're just feelings. They're not wrong. They're not bad. They're not shameful. They're just human responses to hard situations. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to not be okay. For as long as you need, without judgment, without shame, without thinking you should be different than you are. And you need to give yourself permission for that. Permission to not be okay. Permission to struggle. Permission to feel what you feel without judging yourself for it. So right now, give yourself that permission. Say it to yourself. I give myself permission to not be okay. I give myself permission to be sad. I give myself permission to struggle. I give myself permission to feel what I feel, without judgment, without shame, without thinking I should be different. Say it. Mean it. Give yourself that permission, because you need it. You need to know it's okay to be what you are, not okay, and that's perfectly acceptable. You don't need to be stronger. You need to be honest. You don't need to be over it. You need to be in it, feeling it, processing it. You don't need to be okay. You need to acknowledge you're not okay and let that be okay. That's what you need. Permission from yourself to be human, to have feelings, to struggle, to not be okay, without judgment. So give it to yourself, that permission, that acceptance, that self-compassion. You're not okay, and it's okay to not be okay. That's your message tonight, for yourself, from yourself, to yourself. You don't have to be okay. You're allowed to be exactly what you are. Sad, struggling, not okay. And all of that is perfectly acceptable. So accept it. Accept yourself. Accept your feelings. Accept your struggle. Accept your not okayness, without judgment, without shame, without should. Just acceptance. You are what you are. You feel what you feel. And that's okay. All of it. Even the hard parts. Even the sad parts. Even the not okay parts. It's all okay. You're all okay. Not okay, but acceptable okay. Valid okay. Human okay. You're human. Being human. Feeling human feelings. And that's okay. So be not okay. Without apology. Without shame. Without judgment. Just be what you are. And know that's enough. That's acceptable. That's valid. You don't have to be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Zap. Here we are, at the end of our time together tonight. And I hope something has shifted for you. I hope you see that you don't have to hide your sadness, that you don't have to pretend to be okay, that your feelings, even the hard ones, are valid and welcome. You've been carrying sadness alone, hiding it from everyone, pretending you're fine when you're not, protecting others from your pain. And that's been exhausting, isolating, making everything worse. Sleep tonight knowing you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to hide. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to protect everyone from your reality. You can be not okay. You're allowed, really allowed. Your sadness is valid. Your struggle is real. Your pain matters. And it all deserves to be acknowledged, not hidden. Tomorrow, try being honest with someone safe, someone who cares. When they ask how you are, tell them the truth. Actually, I'm struggling. Honestly, I'm really sad right now. Be real. Be vulnerable. Let someone in and see what happens. See if they show up. See if they can handle your honesty. See if connection deepens when you're real. See if you feel less alone when you let someone see. Stop saying, "I'm fine," when you're not. Stop hiding behind performance. Stop protecting everyone else at your own expense. Start being real. Start being honest. Start letting people see you. Not everyone, not all the time, but safe people. People who care. People who ask because they actually want to know. Be real with them. Let them in. Let them support you. And be real with yourself. Stop pretending, even with yourself. Feel what you feel. Acknowledge what's true. I'm not okay, and that's okay. Say it, mean it, believe it. Your feelings are valid. All of them. The sad ones, the hard ones, the ones you think you should hide. They're all valid. They're all allowed. They're all welcome. So feel them without judgment, without shame, without thinking you should be different. Just feel them. That's how you heal. That's how you process. That's how you eventually find your way through. It's okay to not be okay. Really. Truly. Completely okay. You don't have to be fine. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to have it together. You can be struggling. You can be sad. You can be not okay. And that's perfectly acceptable. That's perfectly human. That's perfectly valid. So be it. Be not okay. Without hiding. Without pretending. Without shame. Your feelings are welcome here. Always. All of them. Even the hard ones. Especially the hard ones. They're all welcome. They're all valid. They're all okay. Good night, dear friend. It's okay to not be okay. Your sadness is valid. Your struggle is real. Your feelings are welcome. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to hide. You can be real. And being real is where healing happens, where connection lives, where you find your way through, not in pretending, but in being honest. Not in hiding, but in showing. Not in performance, but in authenticity. So be authentic. Be real. Be not okay. That's allowed. That's valid. That's perfectly acceptable. You're perfectly acceptable. Exactly as you are. Not okay and all. It's okay to not be okay. Remember that. Believe that. Live from that. Your feelings are welcome here. Always. Sweet dreams. Sometimes, healing doesn't look like joy. It doesn't look like laughter or peace or even relief. Sometimes, healing looks like crying for the 100th time over the same thing. It looks like still missing what you've lost. It looks like still feeling heavy, even after doing everything right. And that's okay. That's still healing. Healing isn't a straight line. It's not a clean progression from pain to peace. It's messy. It's slow. It loops back on itself. You take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You feel like you're making progress, then suddenly you're in tears again, wondering if you've gone backwards. But you haven't. You're just moving through another layer, another wave, another part of what it means to be human. Healing doesn't mean you stop feeling pain. It means you stop hiding from it. It means you stop judging yourself for feeling it. It means you can sit with it, breathe with it, let it exist without needing it to go away immediately. So if you're still sad sometimes, you're not failing. If you still miss them, still cry, still feel lost, that's not a setback. That's your heart continuing to process, continuing to release, continuing to heal. Be gentle with yourself in this part of the journey. You don't need to rush to the finish line. You don't need to be over it by now. Healing takes the time it takes. Your only job is to keep showing up for yourself, to keep feeling what's real, to keep reminding yourself it's okay to not be okay, because it is. It always has been. Even in this part, especially in this part, where it still hurts, where it still feels raw, where you still don't have all the answers. This too is part of healing. So breathe, You're not behind. You're not broken. You're healing, just in the quiet, unseen way that real healing often happens. And that's enough. When you've been hurt, trust becomes fragile. You start to question everything: people, life, even yourself. You wonder if you can ever open up again without being broken, if you can ever believe in safety, in love, in possibility. And that's okay. It's okay if trust doesn't come easily anymore. It's okay if your heart feels cautious, if your guard stays up. You're not broken for protecting yourself. You're just healing. Trust doesn't mean you forget what happened. It doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't change you. It means learning, slowly, to believe again. Not blindly, but bravely. To believe that not everyone will hurt you, that life can still surprise you with gentleness, that your heart can open again, even after it's been shattered. You start small. You trust yourself to get through one more day. You trust that your feelings matter. You trust that your sadness won't last forever. You trust that you'll recognize safe people when they appear. You trust that you're allowed to take your time. And with each small act of trust, in yourself, in others, in life, something begins to soften inside you. The walls don't fall all at once, but light begins to slip through the cracks. Moments of ease return. Moments of laughter. Moments when you don't flinch at kindness. That's what trust looks like in the beginning. Not grand gestures or blind faith. Just quiet bravery. Tiny openings. Gentle beginnings. And one day, without realizing it, you'll notice you're not as afraid anymore. You're not waiting for everything to fall apart. You're starting to believe again. Not because the world suddenly became perfect, but because you did the impossible. You let your heart stay open after it was hurt. That's trust. Not forgetting the pain, but choosing love anyway. Choosing hope anyway. Choosing life anyway. And you can, slowly, softly, in your own time. You can trust again. You're already beginning to. are things you still hold against yourself, aren't there? Moments you replay at night, words you wish you could take back, decisions you wish you'd made differently, people you think you should have treated better, times you should have been stronger, braver, wiser. You hold those moments close like proof. Proof that you failed. Proof that you're not enough. But they're not proof. They're simply memories of a version of you who was trying their best with what they knew at the time. You've grown since then. You see things more clearly now. But clarity doesn't mean condemnation. It means understanding. It means you finally have the wisdom to see what you couldn't see before. And that's a gift, not a punishment. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean saying it didn't matter. It means saying you matter too. It means allowing yourself to stop being defined by your mistakes. It means you choose to stop bleeding from the same wound. You're not the person you were when you made those choices. You've learned, you've changed, you've evolved. So why keep punishing the old you for not knowing what you know now? You deserve the same compassion you offer to others, the same gentleness, the same grace. You tell others, it's okay, you did your best. But when will you tell that to yourself? Try saying it now. I forgive myself for what I didn't know then. I forgive myself for how I coped when I was hurting. I forgive myself for not being perfect. I forgive myself for being human. Let that sink in. Feel how heavy your heart has been from carrying all that guilt. You don't need to carry it anymore. You've punished yourself long enough. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's releasing. It's loosening the grip that pain has had on you. It's giving yourself permission to move forward, not because you've earned it, but because you deserve peace. You do. You deserve peace. You deserve softness. You deserve to look at your reflection and see a person who's still worthy, even with the scars, even with the regrets. You can forgive yourself. You can begin again. You can be gentle now, because that's what healing really is. Learning to love the parts of you you once blamed. Hope doesn't come back all at once. It doesn't arrive in fireworks or grand awakenings. It sneaks in quietly, a small flicker, a soft breath, a single thought that maybe, just maybe, things could feel different one day. It shows up in tiny ways, in the way the morning light feels a little warmer on your face, in the sound of laughter that doesn't sting anymore, in the song you suddenly don't skip because it reminds you that joy once lived here and might again. That's how hope returns. Not in a rush, but in whispers. Not as certainty, but as curiosity. What if I could feel okay again? What if this pain doesn't last forever? What if I'm allowed to imagine something good? And that's enough. That quiet wondering. That's hope, reborn. It doesn't erase your sadness. It grows beside it. It doesn't demand that you forget the darkness. It reminds you that even darkness has edges, and beyond those edges, there's still light. You don't have to chase hope. You don't have to force optimism or fake positivity. Just notice it when it arrives. Notice how your chest feels a little lighter when you laugh. Notice how the world looks a little softer when you let yourself believe that healing might actually happen. That's hope. Subtle, patient, gentle. It doesn't ask you to be happy right now. It just asks you to stay open. Open to moments of beauty. Open to the possibility that this isn't the end of your story. You've been through so much. You've carried so many dark nights, cried through so many silences. You've earned the right to feel light again, even if only for a second, even if only in small doses. Let it in. Let hope sit quietly beside your pain. Let it remind you that even after everything, your heart still knows how to reach for light. That's the miracle of being human. We break. We fall apart. We lose everything we thought we needed. And somehow, we still find ways to begin again. That's hope. Soft, quiet, real, and it's already finding its way back to you. After so much sadness, joy can feel foreign, almost suspicious. You catch yourself smiling and wonder if you're allowed to. You laugh, and then guilt creeps in, as if happiness means you've forgotten the pain. But joy doesn't erase what came before. It honors it. It says, I survived that, and I'm still here. Joy is not denial. It's resilience in motion. It's your soul remembering what light feels like. The first time you feel safe again, it's strange. Your body doesn't quite trust it yet. You wait for the ache to return, for the next wave to crash. But then, it doesn't. And you realize, for this moment, you're okay. Not forever, not perfectly, but right now. And that's enough. That's what healing feels like. Learning to let yourself have moments of okayness without fear that they'll vanish. You can rest here. You can let yourself enjoy the small things again. The smell of coffee, the sound of rain, the comfort of a quiet evening where nothing hurts. This is joy in its truest form. Not loud, not constant, not performative. Just peaceful, soft, honest. A gentle reminder that life isn't only made of sorrow, and you don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to justify your joy or earn your right to it. You've carried pain. You've done the work. You've sat with the darkness and honored it. Now, let yourself hold the light. Joy doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you've made room inside yourself for both. The ache and the laughter. The loss and the wonder. It means your heart has grown wide enough to hold all of it. So, when joy visits, don't question it. Don't shrink away. Let it stay. Let it fill the spaces that pain once occupied. Let it remind you what being alive can feel like. You've earned this softness. You've earned this peace. You're allowed to be okay now. Even happy. Even light. Even free. You've made it through so much. Now let joy make its way back home to you. Once you've been hurt, letting people in can feel impossible. Your heart remembers the breaking. It remembers the moments when love wasn't safe, when trust turned into pain, when being open meant being wounded. So you build walls, quiet, invisible ones. You tell yourself you're just being careful, just protecting your peace. And you are. You needed those walls once. They kept you safe when everything felt too fragile. But now, those same walls might be keeping love out. Not just romantic love, but friendship, connection, belonging. The gentle things that heal us in ways solitude never can. Letting people in again isn't about throwing your walls away. It's about learning how to open a door, just a little, to peek out, to see who's there, to invite someone in, slowly, piece by piece, when it feels safe enough. Not everyone deserves access to your heart, but someone will. Someone who listens without fixing, who holds space instead of judgment, who makes you feel more yourself, not less. You'll recognize them by the calm they bring, the way your body exhales around them, the way silence feels comfortable instead of tense. That's what safety sounds like now. Not loud promises, but quiet consistency. You don't have to rush. You don't have to trust everyone. You don't even have to explain why it's hard for you. You just have to stay open to the idea that some people are different, that not everyone will leave, that not everyone will hurt you, that some connections can actually help you heal. Letting people in again isn't weakness. It's bravery in its softest form. It's saying, I'm willing to try again, even knowing it might hurt, because I believe love is still worth it. And it is. Love, in its gentle, honest, patient form, is always worth it. You don't have to be fearless to open your heart. You just have to be willing. And you are. Even now, beneath the caution, beneath the ache, you're still longing for connection. And that longing is the most hopeful part of you. So, trust slowly, love gently, let people in, one quiet moment at a time. For so long, being alone felt heavy. The silence wasn't calm, it was loud with thoughts. Memories echoed. Worries filled the spaces between breaths. You longed for noise, for distraction, for someone to make the loneliness go away. But slowly, something has changed. You've started to realize that solitude isn't punishment. It can be sanctuary, a quiet room where your heart can rest, a space where you can finally hear yourself think. And this time, you listen with kindness. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the ache of absence. Solitude is the peace of presence, your own presence. You begin to notice small things again: the rhythm of your breath, the warmth of a cup in your hands, the way sunlight pools on the floor. You start to feel safe in your own company, not because nothing hurts, but because you trust yourself to handle what does. Being alone becomes less about what's missing and more about what's here. You. You, with your thoughts and your softness. You, rebuilding trust within yourself. You, learning that your worth doesn't depend on being chosen. You are allowed to enjoy your own company, to take yourself on quiet walks, to make coffee just the way you like it, to fill your space with music and warmth and peace. You don't need permission to treat yourself gently. Solitude gives you space to remember who you are when you're not performing for anyone else. To reconnect with your voice, your rhythm, your needs. To rest without explanation. To exist without fear. And one day, the silence that once hurt will start to feel like home. You'll realize that being alone doesn't mean being unloved. It means you've learned to love yourself enough to stay. So be with yourself. Sit in your own company. Breathe in the stillness. Let it teach you that peace was never outside of you. It was always waiting inside. Quiet, patient, ready to be found. There comes a moment, gentle, almost unnoticeable, when the world starts to feel alive again. The colors seem a little brighter. Music feels like it's speaking to you again. You find yourself smiling at small things. The way the wind moves the trees, the sound of laughter drifting through an open window. It's not that everything suddenly got easier. It's that you did. Your heart has softened enough to let the world back in. You've made space for life again. After so long in survival mode, you start to remember what it means to live, to be curious, to want, to create. You feel a pull, a quiet whisper inside that says, "There's more for me." That whisper is life calling you forward. Not rushing, not demanding, just inviting. Inviting you to paint again, to write again, to dance, to explore, to imagine, to let yourself dream without fear of disappointment. When you reconnect with life, it doesn't erase the pain you've lived through. It transforms it. The grief becomes depth. The silence becomes clarity. The scars become stories, proof that you've known both darkness and dawn. You begin to realize that purpose isn't something far away waiting to be found. It's right here, in how you love, in how you notice, in how you choose gentleness in a world that can be harsh. Your life doesn't have to be grand to be meaningful. It just has to be yours. Honest, real, present. You create purpose every time you choose to show up. Every time you choose kindness. Every time you let the world touch you again. So let it. Let life touch you. Let it move through you. Let it remind you that you are part of something bigger. Something alive. Something tender. Something endlessly new. You've spent so much time surviving. Now you get to live. Now you get to build something beautiful from what remains. You don't have to know exactly where you're going. You just have to keep saying yes to moments, to possibilities, to yourself. That's what it means to reconnect. Not to go back to who you were, but to step fully into who you're becoming. Alive, open, ready. When you look back, it's easy to see all the things that hurt, the heartbreaks, the endings, the nights you cried yourself to sleep. But if you look a little closer, you'll see something else too. You made it through. You're still here, still breathing, still trying, still becoming. Gratitude isn't about pretending the pain was pretty. It's about honoring the fact that you kept going anyway. That somewhere in the middle of the mess, you chose not to give up on yourself. So take a moment to thank the version of you who survived the impossible. The one who got out of bed when everything felt heavy. The one who kept believing, even when belief felt foolish. The one who carried you here, to this quieter, softer place. You owe them gratitude, not for being perfect, but for being persistent. And thank your pain too, not because it was fair or kind, but because it became a teacher. It showed you your strength, your capacity for empathy, your ability to rebuild after breaking. It stripped you down to what's real, and in doing so, revealed the truth of who you are. Gratitude isn't about denying the hard parts. It's about seeing the beauty that bloomed through them. It's saying, I didn't want this lesson, but I grew from it anyway. And grace is what happens when you stop demanding perfection from yourself. When you let go of the timelines, the judgments, the constant should. Grace is looking at yourself with tenderness and saying, I'm proud of me, even if I'm still healing. So breathe that in. Gratitude for what was. Grace for what is. Hope for what's still to come. You've carried so much. You've learned so much. You've become someone softer, wiser, more real. That's something to be thankful for. Not because everything went right, but because you kept going when it didn't. Gratitude isn't the end of healing. It's the heart of it. It's the gentle turning point where you stop fighting your story and start embracing it as your own. So thank yourself. Thank the journey. Thank the quiet strength that kept you alive. Because without it, without you, none of this healing would have been possible. Pensions. So here you are, after everything. After the heartbreaks, the quiet nights, the tears, the healing. After the lessons that changed you, the loneliness that shaped you, the softness you had to fight to keep. And maybe you're not all the way there yet. Not fully healed, not endlessly happy. But that's okay. Because healing was never about arriving. It was about returning to yourself. You've come home to your heart. You've learned to sit with your sadness, to make peace with your past, to hold space for your feelings without drowning in them. You've learned that strength isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of honesty. You are not broken. You never were. You were just becoming softer, kinder, deeper, becoming someone who knows how to stay, how to feel, how to love again. Wholeness doesn't mean nothing hurts anymore. It means you've made room for everything. For the grief and the gratitude. For the ache and the joy. For the endings and the beginnings. You are a mosaic of every version you've ever been. The one who cried. The one who fought. The one who healed. The one who still hopes. And together, they make you beautifully, imperfectly, entirely you. So tonight, rest knowing this truth. You don't have to be fully healed to be worthy. You don't have to be perfect to be at peace. You don't have to be okay all the time to be whole. You are whole right now, in this breath, in this moment, exactly as you are. Let that truth settle deep inside you. Let it soften the noise of not enough. Let it remind you that even here, in your becoming, in your stillness, in your humanness, you are enough. You always have been. You always will be. So breathe. Close your eyes and know this with all your heart. It's okay to not be okay. You are healing. You are growing. You are whole, even here.